game companies have been struggling to find the vigor, if you will, that it used to have back in when COVID was here, really, when everybody was locked inside and they were just having exponential sales on literally everything because people had nothing else to do. But ever since COVID pretty much doesn't even exist anymore for most people, the games, of course, the sales naturally declined and then they started seeing less and less profits. So, of course, now they're panicking. But it also plays into the fact where it's like they're still worrying about the profit, and so they're just trying to be extremely safe with their games. But it also leads to just games being very, very mediocre and just no real incentive to purchase the game. And so we just have multiple examples here of what exactly and why exactly that's happening. Because some of these games came out when COVID was still here and they still flopped because what they provided was just it wasn't even as good as the previous games they were based off of, which shouldn't be how it is, but it is how it is. So here we are to discuss just the absolutely abhorrent sales that these games have received recently. Here's this Saints Row reboot sales have exceeded 1.7 million copies, less than half of Saints Row 3. And if you guys haven't seen any gameplay or anything on Saints Row, the newest Saints Row, it's very bad, very bad. It looked like a game that was still in beta, but they decided to release it as a full price game. And everything from the gameplay to the story to the voice acting, it would just you can look up clips on it. It's pretty bad. It's very bad. And so it doesn't even surprise me that even though this game had come out when COVID was still here, that Saints Row 3 still blew it out of the water because Saints Row 3 was like the pinnacle, I feel like, of the Saints Row games. Some people think the older ones, but I actually never played them. I only played 3 and then 4. 4 was just kind of like a goofball game. I mean, it was just ridiculous with like the superpowers or whatever. But anyway, Saints Row 3 was like, it felt like Saints Row. And then they just kind of lost it. It was kind of, for me, it was up and then down, if you will, with Saints Row 3 being at the top. And so it doesn't even surprise me that it just did not. I'm actually surprised that it sold 1.7 million copies because I'm not even sure what those 1.7 million people did in the game because there was really hardly anything to do. And if the things that it provided, it was just better to do them in Saints Row 3, which is much cheaper because it's a way older game. And so they're of course having a bunch of job postings and things like that, as you can see in the article here, because they're just trying to get people hired on that will actually, I don't know, make a good game. But really, it's on the people at the top because they're the ones who are directing and managing it. And so when these games come out and they're supposed to be politically correct or whatever nonsense, it's not surprising that when the gameplay is bad and the story is bad, that there's just not going to be a lot of people wanting to buy the game. I'm wondering how many people of that 1.7 million actually finished it. Because I don't think I've seen one single positive review on the game, and that speaks for sure. And that kind of brings me over to the Assassin's Creed Shadows trailer that just released. Now this is the number one on trending with 4.2 million views, which is just crazy in 21 hours. I don't. Has Assassin's Creed trailers always had that many? I don't know. But anyway, as you can see, the like to dislike ratio, it's better than I thought it would be. I mean, it's still 207,000 likes, but it's also 272,000 dislikes. And if you don't know, the controversy around this is that this is supposed to be Assassin's Creed in feudal Japan, and the main character happens to be of the African American ethnic group, if you will. And so a lot of people are kind of like, this seems extremely forced because feudal Japan, I don't know, maybe it was just Japanese people. I don't know why I would think that. Maybe because that's like the only thing we have on record from that time in Japan is that it was pretty much only Japanese people. But anyway, just kind of putting two to two together there. And so the comments are going, I wouldn't say they're actually going like that crazy on it, but I wouldn't say they're going very positive on it either. The, this comment has been going on in like all these trailers that for these games and TV shows and movies that come out that they're just gonna be so bad. And it's always like the most heroic thing about this trailer is that they left the comments open. Which is true because I don't see how they were going to release this and not get any backlash. I mean, at the end of the day, with all the political correctness or whatever in these games, that doesn't even matter if the game's good. People will just be like, yeah, that's kind of weird, but whatever, the game's good, I'm going to play it. That's really what's going to go on here. It might deter a few people away, but for the most part, people just want a game to be good. And that was the main problem with Saints Row and all these other games. Is that, yeah, they were politically correct or whatever, but they were also really bad just gameplay wise. And so, why would it sell if the game's bad? So that's the thing with this game is like, even with the politically correct, it's really going to be more about if the gameplay is good or not. I mean, these Assassin's Creed games, they've kind of strayed so far from what they used to be. I don't know if you've played any of the newer ones. I personally only played, what was that one? Odyssey. Sorry, there's so many I forgot. Odyssey, which was the one in Greece. It wasn't a bad game, but it also didn't really feel like Assassin's Creed, if you will. I mean, the only real part about it is that they had the guys in hoods, and so you're like, okay, well, they're assassins. But other than that, it was like, how in any ways does this blend in with the world of Assassin's Creed? That, and also they had the deep dive thing that they have, because in all of the games, you're technically not even the player themselves or the person themselves. You're supposed to be somebody who's using a machine to like go back in time and live through the story, if you will. And so I guess that is kind of the reason why it's Assassin's Creed. But anyway, so at the end of the day, that's really what it's going to be about, is if the game is good or not. I like the comment. I'm just thankful Ghost of Tsushima exists, which, yeah, for sure. I mean, if people are looking at this game wanting to play it, I would say just go play Ghost of Tsushima because it's been out for a while, so you can get it cheaper, and the story is going to be a lot better. I already know, based off of Ubisoft's previous track record, that the game's narrative is not going to be great. I mean, I hope to be wrong. Hey, I hope to be wrong. But previous track record, game after game after game, I don't know. Just kind of more skeptical on this. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments. Oh, especially with their like $130 edition and stuff like that for early access to the game on a single player game, which is just, oh my gosh. Yeah, so even the price of these games, it's like, why are people going to pay that much? I mean, sure, there's going to be some stupid people that'll pay for it, but oh my gosh, they're just charging an exorbitant amount of money for these games for early access and the season pass, day one DLC, if you will, and it's like, can you just release a full game, please? Like, it's hard for me because I used to be that person who would buy the deluxe edition because I want to get the best edition right off the bat. So I'd pay for it and the DLC, and it's like, wait, why am I doing this? This is really stupid. I need to stop. Especially pre-ordering games when they're not even out. Please don't pre-order games. Wait for reviews. But anyway, if you guys liked the video, make sure to leave a like, and I hope to see you guys around. Peace.